Welcome to the first of many shows called Puck Time. It's the WagerTalk Sports Memo Hockey Show, and I'm excited to be the host. I will have two guests on every single day. We will do 3 to 6 games a day, plus every segment will end with the empty net, where we take apart the board at 100 miles an hour. I'm the Prez. Today we've got Alex B. Smith and Andrew something or other McInnis. Let's start with you, Alex. Introduce yourself to the guests. We're excited to have you. You've built up a huge following in the hockey handicapping world with your show on Sportsbook Review, and now you're with us full time. You can buy his plays at Sports Memo. Alex, tell us about yourself and who's your favorite hockey team?
Yeah, I'm glad to be with you guys. Glad to be with the Sports Memo family and the WagerTalk TV family as well. Like I said, I'm originally from the South Side of Chicago, but I've been living here in St. Paul, Minnesota. Exactly 10 years to this day is when I moved to St. Paul, Minnesota. Came here for college and never left. I live just blocks down from the XL Energy Center, and but I'm still a Hawks fan. Always gonna rep my team. Even though we're struggling mightily right now. But with that being said, no, I'm really glad to be a part of this show. Glad to work with you, Prez, for the first time, working with Andrew again as well. So looking forward to what should be an exciting show 5 days a week. It's the only hockey podcast that'll be on Monday through Friday around. So I'm glad to be a part of it. And
we will be doing some special shows. Once the playoff starts, we'll be doing a playoff preview, and then we'll be doing a round-by-round previews, but that's a long time from now. Andrew McInnis, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the show.
Yeah, so I grew up playing basketball and hockey, two main sports for myself. Got into the media industry, got a sports journalism degree, covering local media here. That kind of snowballed into sports handicapping. And I started working with Alex on the Ice Guys. That was 3 times a week, talking hockey from a betting perspective every single game. So that was great. And now I have the wonderful privilege of joining the Sports Memo family and working with you guys. And of course, doing videos with the Prez, can't beat it. So looking forward to this show. It's great. Monday to Friday. You can find me here on the channel Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays. And my team is the Montreal Canadiens, as I'm sure the Prez will be sure to point out to me numerous times during these shows, of course, because he's a Leafs fan. But anyway, looking forward to this show, and can't wait to work with you guys.
I'm not a Leaf fan first. The Leafs are my second favorite team. Alex, so you understand, my favorite team in hockey is anyone playing against the Montreal Canadiens.
I get that. As a Hawks fan, I feel the same way about Detroit, so I totally understand. But once again, when you're betting on money, it all goes out the window. I just made money last night on the Red Wings, so you got to put the fan favorite hat to the side a little bit when you're trying to cash some tickets.
Very true, very true. And the thing about it for me though is, the Leafs are really my only team left. I don't really care about the Raptors or the Blue Jays. So I actually don't bet against the Leafs. I will bet on them and I will bet totals, but I will never bet against the Leafs. I'm sitting in a different seat. Normally I have my helmets in the background.
Very nice, very nice.
I did that in honor.
Mask.
What?
Is that no? That's wait. Which mask was that behind you? Directly behind you?
The mask.
I see it's kind of breaking. Oh, okay. I see now. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, the original mask. Hand signed.
Great collection you got back there. You got the Muhammad Ali photos as well. Very nice.
Oh yeah, but my whole room is like this, brother. I got 110 pieces altogether.
Awesome.
Okay, boys, let's get into the show. I don't know why my regular camera is not actually working today, so there is a slight fuzz on me, right?
A little bit. It gives you a futuristic look, though. It's not too bad.
Okay. Let's get into the show. Guys, before we talk hockey, I just want to give out a promo quick. $99 is the cost of a week of NHL plays. At WagerTalk and Sports Memo. If you head over to Sports Memo and you want to buy Alex or Andrew's weekly NHL plays, it's only $39. Use the promo code PuckTime, one word, PuckTime, And if you want to buy my NHL, and I'm 60% on the season, head over to WagerTalk.com and use the same promo code PuckTime. I don't know how it gets better than that, guys. $40 for 7 days of hockey plays. All of us are so good at hockey. It's my best sport. It's both of your best sports. And you know what? It's also a sport the books don't spend as much time on.
Very true.
Yeah.
It's really other than baseball, it's the best sport to bet, period. Boys, let's get into it. I'm going to go through I'm going to go through a couple of games. I'm going to start with you, Alex. Chicago Blackhawks, your team. They are playing tonight in Winnipeg. Plus 205 as a dog. You're going to tell us how live they are. And the over and under is 6. Where should we put our money in this hockey game?
Yeah, the Hawks are a dog that's certainly not live. They're definitely dead, probably stuffed somewhere from a taxidermist. They're in horrible shape. They have lost 7 games in a row. They are 3-11-2 since Joel Quenneville was given the boot and Jeremy Colleton came in. This team, they just can't figure anything out. I watched the game against Anaheim. I watch every Hawks game, obviously, but the game against Anaheim specifically a few nights ago, the Ducks were just moving the puck as if it was like a scrimmage. There was no backlash, no kind of effort from within the blue line. There was nothing in between the blue lines and the neutral zone. Anaheim just controlled the ice the entire way. And the Hawks, there's just no energy going on with this Hawks team right now. They're playing a Winnipeg team that always plays them physical. They play everybody physical, but especially even more so with the Hawks, it's being a division rival. Winnipeg seems to have really kind of taken note of that, especially during the years when the Hawks were really good. The Winnipeg has always gotten a great energy to play against the Hawks. This is a spot here where I'm looking at the first period over. This has cashed 11 straight times in Hawks games, and it's cashed 13 of the last 18 overall with the Hawks. And more often than not, they've been on the losing end of the first period. If you look at the first period side, they're 1-8-2. So basically, the last 11 games, they have been either tied or trailing after 20 minutes. So you're getting some good value here. You're only laying a minus $1.30. Go with the Blackhawks and Jets first period over.
I like that call. And you know what, Alex? I like the whole game to go over. I mean, Chicago's on an 8-game, a 7-game losing streak. They're letting in an average of a hair over 4 goals a game throughout that period of time. And Winnipeg can score. I mean, we saw it against Philly. They put up 7. Yep. They were shut out in St. Louis, but before that, you had a 3 against the Islanders, a 4 against the Rangers, a 4 against the Devils, a 6 against Chicago. Last time they played, the game was 6-5. I think you have a perfect storm on the over altogether. Liney's on fire. Winnipeg is a high-scoring team. And Chicago they can't defend right now. It looks like Duncan Keith's best days are behind him.
Yeah, definitely.
Alex likes the over in the first period, and I like the over in the entire hockey game.
One more thing to note with that, not to interrupt you, Prez, but just to make note, Artem Anisimov, one of the better centermen for the Hawks, he is out for this game. He's listed day-to-day with a mild concussion, so that's something to keep note of as well.
Andrew, let's talk about Carolina and Toronto. Toronto is on the road. They've lost their last 2. They're minus 120, and the over and under is 6. They're one of the best teams in hockey. They're 20-9 on the season. I'm guessing you like the short dog here.
You can't really just look at this game and not want to take the Maple Leafs, but in my eyes, it's a good spot to take them because simply you don't want to be laying massive favorites, even with great teams like the Toronto Maple Leafs. You want to find a good spot, and they're laying, $1.20 is fine. It's a manageable number to deal with, and realistically, the trends don't lie, the stats don't lie. But I want to tell you guys, I was at that game in Boston last Saturday, a couple days ago, and this Leafs team looked flat. They lost to Detroit the night before, 2 nights ago, before that. Then they go into Boston and put up an absolute flat performance. It seems to me they now have their team fully healthy. And I got to tell you guys, that completely has to do with Nylander being back. It's honestly thrown off the lineup, it seems. And, it's really notable to mention that he didn't get a training camp. He didn't get exhibition games. He didn't get one full practice before his first game with the team. He's barely even practiced with the whole team yet. But the stats really all do add up. 5-2 in their last 7, 4-2 in their last 6 versus Carolina, 4-1 in their last 5 in Carolina, and 4-1 in their last 5 games on 2 days of rest. I simply think the Stars are going to shine tonight. For me, it's a big deal as well, seeing McElhinney placed on the IR. He's been kind of the backbone of that team. He's been carrying Carolina. And to be honest, Carolina's looked good, guys. But if you really dig deep, they haven't beat great teams. They haven't actually beat anyone that matters. They've just been kind of beating the lower tier, bottom feeder type teams.
Yeah, they beat Montreal. It's a very good point.
I'm not always biased, Prez. I know Montreal is not an elite team. But anyway, I just think that it's time for the Stars to shine. Nylander's had some time to kind of settle in with his team. And this team knows how to bounce back. There's a team in this NHL that knows how to bounce back, score some goals in bunches, produce after back-to-back losses. That was a very, very flat game, guys, against the Boston Bruins. We're getting a $1.25 price here. I got to love it, and I think that Leafs get things done very easily here.
I agree with you, Andrew. And you know what? Again, you look at the stats, and the over really jumps out at you. I mean, Toronto is a scoring machine. You know, they lost 6-3 to Boston, which took the game way over the total. They put up 4 against Detroit, 4 against Buffalo, 5 against Minnie and San Jose, 4 against Boston, 6 against Philly. This team is scoring an average of more than 4 goals a game in their last 8. And if you look at Carolina, they've been a bit sloppy on defense, and they can score. I don't like this over as much as I do the Chicago one. But I think the over 6 goals is the right call here as well. Let's go back to Alex B. Smith. Alex, I don't want to ask you about the Toronto game. We've already got an assessment on that. But Detroit is going into Washington, and Washington is minus 270. The over and under is 6. Detroit is playing better hockey of late, and they're also scoring at a higher pace. Where are you going in this hockey game?
Yeah, I'm looking at the over here between these two teams. I mean, you got a Detroit team, like I said, they just come off of a win last night, a nice 3-1 win against LA. Now they're taking on, this is obviously a step up in class for them, to take on the defending Stanley Cup champions and Washington, a team that has finally started to hit their stride. They started off really slow. One key factor in this game tonight is TJ Oshie, who had been out with a concussion. He is probable to return for tonight's game. That just adds another dynamic to what's an incredible offense here. I think we're going to see a lot of two-way action as far as inside the boards of this game. I don't know about betting-wise, but as far as the game goes, I think we're going to see a lot of scoring here. So looking at 6, which is a high total, but that's the new normal now. Teams know how to score more often than not. So I'm looking at the over here with the Capitals and Red Wings tonight.
And I liked the under yesterday against the LA Kings, but frankly, I've been riding the under on the LA Kings all year. So I'm with you.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
I'm with you on the over in this game too. The only thing that worries me is Detroit's on a back-to-back, and they might be tired offensively. And Washington has been playing better defensive late. Shut out Columbus 4-0 and beat Arizona 4-2. But yeah, I mean, all the numbers suggest the over in this game too. Guys, you're listening to Puck Time. It's every single day, Monday to Friday. Alex B. Smith will be joining us every day. Andrew will be with us 3 days a week. Tomorrow we will have Carmine Bianco with us. Thursday, Dave Koken. And then Andrew will be back Friday, where we'll do a longer show and take a look at both Friday and Saturday night's card. Andrew, Florida and St. Louis. I actually have a play on this game. You can get it at WagerTalk.com. It's offhand, I think it's the first game this season where I'm betting on anything St. Louis or Florida is involved in. But I really like this game. I'm not going to speak about it at all. St. Louis is minus 120. And the over and under, as Alex said, the new normal is 6. Where are you going here?
First of all, I got to say this St. Louis team's been the biggest disappointment I've seen in years. Right next to the Blackhawks and the Kings this year, this team has been so underachieving, underwhelming, whatever word you want to use. It's disgraceful. I'm looking at the over in this one. I think it's time for this team to wake up. I mean, the inconsistency we've seen from them, they're playing at home now. They just got absolutely beaten down by the Vancouver Canucks 6-1. It's embarrassing. I mean, you see Ryan O'Reilly go there and try and get paid, try and get hhis money, be that top line, first line center with Tarasenko and Steen, and he hasn't done anything. He's not producing. This team needs to step things up. 4-1 in the last 5 meetings between these two teams. The total is skyrocketed over. And this Panthers team, one thing consistent about them is they're often involved in higher scoring games, whether it's actually them or the opposition doing the scoring. Interesting stat I had here. The over is 4-1 for St. Louis in their last 5 following a home loss of 3 or more goals. So this team really does know how to kind of, respond and bounce back and get their stuff together. And guys, I don't know if you factor this into it, but I like to factor what the media is saying about players, coaches. There was actually a fight in the practice, in a St. Louis practice just a few days ago. And to me, that's some passion. That's sparking something. This team's obviously frustrated. They're at home. I expect them to throw everything at the net in this one. Finally, see some stars come to life. See the Bozaks of the world. See Maroon. See Tarasenko, David Perron. Do something. Try and light the lamp and get this team going. For Florida, over is 5-1 the last 6 versus a team with a losing record. This Florida team has had a score, guys. They beat some great teams. I love it. I love this spot. I love this over. It's a great play. It's one that I really like on this card. So I'm going to go over in Florida, St. Louis, guys.
He's Andrew. I'm the Prez. Alex B. Smith with us. You're watching Puck Time. One more game, Alex, and I know. Look, I'm gonna catch you off guard here because one of your games that you sent in to talk about was the same as Andrew's. I want to talk to you about Edmonton and Colorado. I mean, Hitch is now coaching Edmonton. We've seen them sort of slowly start leaning towards defense. Yeah, they played Calgary, which is a high-scoring team, to a 1-0 draw. Minnesota only put in 2. St. Louis only put in 2. This team is now playing to the under, which is a huge surprise. Although with that said, other than Connor McDavid, they are a slow-moving team. Colorado is always playing to the over. It's a minus 145 home favorite in Colorado, and the total is 6. But Alex, we are seeing some 5.5s. I gotta lean on the over here. I know Edmonton's playing to the under right now, but if I can get a 5.5 on a game that Colorado's involved in, I'm gonna take it.
I got to look the other way with you. I got to give you a not so fast, my friend, with this. I'm looking at the under here because you're looking at, like I said, this Edmonton team, their main focus now is defense with Ken Hitchcock. Like any Ken Hitchcock team, they're going to play it slower, try and control the pace, control tempo, work hard in the neutral zone.
Back check like crazy.
Exactly. And the fact is, if Connor McDavid's not the one scoring, then, someone else has got to step up. We've seen that be an issue at times. Like I said, we've seen now under Ken Hitchcock 2 different games that ended 1-0. Those are scores, remind you of 1998 rather than 2018. So this is an Edmonton team that I think they can find a way to slow down Colorado. Colorado likes to play a little physical, too, for being a more up-tempo team. They're not exactly just a freewheeling kind of dynamic offensive team. They can get a little physical. So I think we're going to see a lot of hits, a lot of physicality in the boards behind the net. I could see this being kind of a 3-2 game, kind of a slow sweeper. I would actually kind of lean with Edmonton getting a decent plus price in that. And
guys, I'd say the reason why as well, not even just because of Hitchcock, but it's their goal production. You see in their game against Calgary, 1-0 game, who scores but the one and only Connor McDavid because nobody else can. So, I mean, that's also has to be a factor. I mean, they're trying to win these lower scoring games and play better defensive hockey and kind of shorten the ice, make it look smaller. But their production's still not getting there, guys. I mean, McDavid's carrying the load still.
I tell you, Andrew, I had a chuckle when you said the one and only Connor McDavid. And the reason is, as a Leaf fan, I'm in such a conundrum here. Austin Matthews or Connor McDavid. And the bottom line is on a day-to-day basis, I'm an Austin fan. But Man, Connor's going to be Captain Canada for many, many years to come. He's going to go to the Olympics and the World Cup and everything else, and it'd be like, boo Austin.
Let me ask you guys this. It's a kind of a sharp question, but is there a chance that in the next several years, McDavid is not an Oiler? Is there a chance?
I think it's possible.
No. No.
People have talked about it. I just think it's more of a legacy thing. He won't leave, but look what they've done around him. Look at the pylon they brought in Milan Lucic. This guy is literally he's going to therapy, it seems, for getting goals. I mean, this guy's looking at his junior tapes to try and figure out how to score.
There's Andrew McInnis with a joke.
Prez hasn't really seen me, get a rant going. I know Alex has seen it a couple of times. Yeah. I mean, this guy just, he scored a few goals, maybe 3 or 4 goals in 62 games, I believe the stat was. It's disgraceful.
Well, the craziest part about it, and guys, I know my camera's a little jerky today. I'll have it fixed tomorrow. But the craziest part about Lucic's lack of scoring is this is a big body and a tough guy. And I mean, you would think he would be able to Dave Anderchuk himself into the net or Cam Neely himself a couple of goals. I mean, just stand in front of the bloody goalie and chip away. It's unbelievable. But I'll tell you, I watch a lot of Edmonton games and I play a lot of hockey too. And the bottom line is, if you don't have puck-moving defensemen, you cannot score. And that's where the issue lies with Edmonton. For all the problems that Jake Gardiner causes on defense in Toronto, and for the greatness of Morgan Riley, and Andrew can speak to Duncan Keith in his heyday, and Burns in San Jose, and Carlson. If you can't move the puck from defense, you can't open the ice. And it to me is Edmonton's number one issue, not Lucic.
I agree with that. I would definitely agree with that.
Andrew, let's talk about Montreal and Minnesota. Montreal is on the road here. They're playing a tough team to beat. Minnesota is minus anywhere from 155 to 165. The over and under is 6. There are a few 5.5s on the board. Montreal is scoring, man. 3-2 against Chicago, but they put up 5 in each of their games against Ottawa, 5 against the Rangers in an incredibly good game. They've won 3 in a row, and they're catching Minnesota off of a road trip. Lost their last 2 games. And one thing I know about hockey is that first game home is not as surefire a win as people think it is. Do we have a super live dog here, Andrew?
As much as you guys might want me to try and make a side here and make a reason to take Montreal, I'm not going to. I think you'll get to know this about Alex and about myself as well. With these hockey bets, I think a lot of people don't realize the different ways you can attack them and different ways you can approach it. And for this one, I'm going to go over the first period again. For the Wild, their past 10 games, Prez, the total's gone over in 8 of them. 8-2 to the over in the last 10 first periods. For the Montreal Canadiens, 7-3 to the over in the last 10 games in the first period. What does that tell me? That tells me that these teams get off to a hot start. They take risks. They push the puck up the ice. They get the puck deep. They've got 4 lines that roll. And they kind of, they have that mentality. They get off to an early start. They fire shots on net. And it seems to me, guys, and sometimes you can really look into this. Certain teams, you can look at the periods where they average the most goals. And for both these 2 teams, this first period is actually that main one. And usually it's the second or third for many, many teams. But, these 2 teams averaging just over a little bit over 3 goals each. And you got to love this stat. I think Minnesota plays a lot better at home. I think as far as from a betting standpoint, Minnesota probably shouldn't be that heavy of faves, but they've also been beating great teams. And like you notably pointed out, Montreal's been mediocre, but they haven't been beating great teams. So I'm going to keep it simple, guys. And the stats don't lie. I liked it before I saw them. over in the first period, over the 1.5 number, Wild and Canadiens.
You're watching Puck Time. You can find us at WagerTalk TV and at Sports Memo every day, Monday to Friday. The show will be up by 2 p.m. Eastern, the latest. Alex B. Smith and Andrew McInnis. Tomorrow we got Alex B. and Carmine. Use the coupon code PuckTime at Sports Memo and at WagerTalk for any one of the three of us weekly hockey picks. 7 days of hockey picks for $39. Use the promo code PuckTime. Guys, we're going to go through the empty net segment. We're going to go down every game. We've already discussed many, so I'll drive this segment and we'll get to it. Toronto, Carolina, we've already discussed this game. I like the over in this game. Andrew likes the Leafs. Vancouver and Columbus. Alex B. Smith, Columbus minus 220. The over and under is 6. We don't need an explanation. Nothing more than what do we bet?
I look at Blue Jackets team total over 3.5 and minus $1.10.
Creative and bold. Boston Bruins coming off a walloping of the Leafs a few days ago. Could be a soft spot for them playing Arizona. Arizona's 50-50 on the season, which is a hell of a lot better than any other season. Over and under is 5.5. Andrew, Boston is a huge favorite at minus 182. What do we do?
Despite what we saw in Boston, I'm going to go under in this one. These two teams will try and have a solid defensive performance and keep the total low.
Buffalo minus 176 on a back-to-back against the LA Kings. Same situation. I like under the total of 5.5 goals in this game. So that's my opinion. We'll move on. Washington and Detroit. We already spoke about this game. Alex gave his opinion on it. So, and St. Louis and Florida, we touched on as well. Alex, Nashville, another huge favorite again, Alex. Minus 270 against Ottawa. I'm sure the puck line they're even favored in. The over and under is 6. Ottawa is not horrific. This is a giant number. What do we do in this hockey game?
Yeah, Ottawa's played some good teams really close. They took a couple of games into overtime. I would look at the puck line plus 1.5. You can get it at minus $1.15.
I agree 100%. We spoke about Minnesota and Montreal. We've talked about Chicago and Winnipeg, and we have taken apart the Colorado-Edmonton game. Listeners, thanks so much for listening. We want to make this show as good as possible. Please comment. Alex, are you drinking pop?
Coca-Cola, the usual.
There will be no more pop drinking on any show with me. It's disgusting. It's unhealthy. It's ridiculous. Get rid of it. It is pure sugar and garbage. I can't stand for that. Drink it on your own time, not on puck time.
Fair enough. I'll just go with coffee.
Or water. And only one coffee a day. I care about you guys.
Sounds good, Doc. I'll remember that.
Life lessons from the Prez.
Yeah.
Exactly. Guys, thanks for watching Puck Time. Make sure to comment on YouTube. All three of us will look at the comments. We'll try to participate. And also let us know how we can make this show better. I'm the Prez. You've been watching Puck Time. And we will see you tomorrow with Alex and Carmine. Boys, we're done.
Thanks, guys.
All right, take it easy, guys.